Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Coffee Crusted Beef Tenderloin. Today I want to share with you guys a really simple but really tasty recipe for this smoked beef tenderloin. We're going to rub it with a coffee rub, smoke it on the smoker, and sear it to finish. All very simple, but to follow things up, we're going to create a really nice cream sauce with garlic and brie. It's cheesy, it's creamy, it's amazing, and it's going to go fantastic with our coffee crusted beef tenderloin. So here we have a 5-pound beef tenderloin. This is the whole tenderloin. You've got the head end down here, the tail, and of course the chain that runs along the side there. Now in the past, I've showed you guys how to break this down into the center cut, how to make some roasts out of it, some steaks. We're just going to cook it whole today. The only thing we want to do first is go ahead and remove this tail and get some of that extra gunky stuff out in the middle, take off some of this silver skin because that's chewy and we don't want that on the end product. Now the chain here is really easy to find. You just run your fingers along the side there, and then a couple simple cuts will separate this piece of meat that's covered in fat and tissue. So you could go all the way to the end here, or you can leave some of it behind. We're just gonna make a nice clean cut. And this I like to throw into my grind, but you can also just throw on the smoker to cook for snacks. For the rest of this roast here, we're just gonna be cleaning up what's on the surface. Any of this really tough stuff that we don't wanna chew on, and that silver skin that's down below. Just wanna slide your knife right underneath it, cut yourself a little tab, hold on to that, and then with your knife kind of facing up a bit so you don't gouge into the meat. Just gently coming down. You want to take with it as little meat as possible. Hopefully this is all silver skin. This can be a little bit tedious, but it's worth the time it takes to get rid of that silver skin. It's really not enjoyable to chew on after the fact. All right, so the top side's cleaned up pretty well. Flip this over and work on the other side where we've got some more really thick bits of fat that we can take off. You're not really going to be eating those in the end anyway. If you cut through that, you'll see it's entirely fat. So we're just going to trim that surface fat right off of here. Look, if you want to leave this behind, leave it behind. I'm just cleaning it up for presentation a bit. And then we're going to get down to the tail where it gets really thin. And honestly, this stuff's just going to burn up anyway, so I'm just going to make myself a clean cut, and we'll throw that scrap in with the grind. So that's it for trimming. We're gonna leave it that way, really trimming that up just a little bit, probably gonna save you about $5 a pound on the price of this meat, so it's really worth your time and your money. Now for our seasonings today, we wanna really complement the beefiness of this cut of meat with some earthy flavors, some coffee and chipotle peppers, neither of which will be the star of the show in the end. You'll see it'll really just elevate the dish overall. Now before we get our seasoning on our beef tenderloin, we just want to get a little bit of binder down. So we're using the House of Q slow smoked gold mustard sauce. Always a great choice, but you could use any kind of binder that you like. You want a little extra spicy, use some hot sauce or some sriracha. You could even just use a little bit of oil. This is going to add just a little bit of tanginess as well. Today we're going to double down on the rubs. We're starting with the Oak Ridge Barbecue Black Ops rub. So this is a great savory rub. It's got a little bit of sugar in it as well, but some really interesting notes with the coffee and shiitake mushrooms. So this is our base layer. This is really gonna suck into the meat here on the surface. Then we're gonna add a second rub to create some extra texture. Now this is the Cattleman's Grill Smoky Chipotle. It's a coffee steak rub. Also has coffee in it, also has a little bit of sugar in it, and then that chipotle pepper. But one of the great things that this rub gives us that the other one doesn't is that texture on the outside. That really works to form a nice crust and bark. So let's work all that into the meat, pick up what's left on the table. And already this looks wet on the surface, which means it's already ready to go on the smoker. We'll get this guy placed right here on the top. Lots of room for the smoke to circulate around. We're set up completely indirect at this point. Well, today we're cooking on the Yoder Smoker's YS640S pellet grill. We'll be smoking at 225 degrees and we're running pecan and cherry pellets. We do have the grill set up for smoking. That means completely indirect. But I also have my grill grates in place over the firebox so that later on we can pull the door out and do some direct grilling for our reverse sear. The tenderloin's been smoking for just over an hour now, and the temperature on the internal has reached 105 and the deepest part of that tenderloin. That means it's time to take it off. We're gonna cover it and set it aside while we crank the grill up to finish with a sear. So we're looking for the temperature in the deepest part of the tenderloin there. Right in the middle is about the fattest. It also gets a little bit fatter down here at this end, but that's where you're really looking to get the proper temperature. At the ends, it's gonna be a little bit higher, and that's fine. So now we're gonna set the grill up for direct grilling. Take the second shelf out, pull our grill grates out of the way, and remove that door. Slide these back over and crank the temperature up. We're gonna go to 475. Hey guys, remember I said that the chain was a really good little snack. It's got a lot of fat in it, but it also makes for a really nice way to grease the grates here before we sear off the tenderloin. So we'll leave that off to the side to finish. That'll be a good snack. And then we have the tenderloin itself that's just been resting for the last 5 minutes or so while the temperature comes up in the grill. So now we just want to keep an eye on that. Roll it around, get some nice color on the outside on all of the sides. And in the meantime, we're also going to be putting together our cream brie sauce with the garlic in it. So we're going to be a little bit back and forth. We'll make sure that we don't overcook this. We're targeting about 125 on the internal temperature here. We're going to get that cream sauce going back at the table. We're going to start our sauce off with 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Just let that gently melt down over medium heat. I'm going to slice up a couple of shallots here. Just want to get the skins off and slice them nice and thin. We're going to add our shallots in here. We're also going to add a 1/4 cup of garlic that's been minced down already. We want to go medium-low heat here. We don't want to do too much browning. We just kind of want to work this garlic flavor into the butter base, start to break up these shallots. In the meantime, let's go check on our beef tenderloin. Nice. Some good grill marks on there. Great little crust forming on the outside. We check the internal temperature. 113, so we're coming right along, and that's great because we're about halfway to that 125 that we want. We'll just close this up and let it finish out. Bringing the heat down low now, so we're really just poaching this garlic to soften it. While that's happening, let's go ahead and pull some thyme leaves to throw in here. I really love the flavor of thyme and butter, onions. All these things go together really great, especially going to complement with that creamy brie. So I'm going to be pretty generous with the thyme. We're looking to do a couple tablespoons of leaves. And just run a knife through here to make sure everything's kind of even in size. All right, we're at 125, almost on the money. Going to let this finish with the carryover cooking when it comes off the grill. Just loosely cover that with foil once again. Go ahead and add the thyme as well. Mix that in. Our garlic's coming along. You can see the shallots are getting softened. That's really what we're looking for. We don't want the garlic to have that raw smell anymore. And those shallots should be pretty translucent in color. Give this another minute before we add our chicken stock. All right, so we're also gonna add, let's say about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit less, of our black ops rub that we used on the beef itself. Bring some of that mushroom in there. Really adds to the earthiness of this sauce. Everything else is cooked down, so right now I'm gonna add our chicken stock. We're kind of deglazing with the chicken stock. You could also use wine to do this, but I'm gonna bring the heat up now, and I'm gonna cook this chicken stock down until it's almost gone. So we've just got that concentrated flavor of the chicken stock down in there. So here we have our 8-ounce wheel of brie. I'm gonna slice it open. This stuff is just super creamy on the inside, and then it's got that tougher rind on the outside. The rind won't break down so well, so I'm gonna cut that off. And then we'll just kind of scoop the creamy stuff out of the center and add it to our sauce. The cream is already thickening just from simmering away. And now we're going to start to melt that brie into the cream sauce. And just work it in there until it's fully melted and incorporated. Just the outer layer. Don't want to leave much behind. We'll take with us what we do. So melting it down, and that's all there is to it. We're just gonna wait until it's fully melted. We're looking for the right consistency in the sauce, but we're already getting there. All right, guys, I am calling it good here. This is looking like a fantastic consistency. Let's get a little taste here. See on the spoon, it coats it really nicely. Look at that. Oh my. This is what we call a special occasion sauce. It's in for every weeknight. Save it for something special because this is incredible. Especially for your garlic lovers out there. If you're not crazy about the garlic, dial it back just a little bit, but so rich and creamy. I can't wait to see what this tastes like with our beef tenderloin. All right, guys. It's been about 15 minutes here on our beef tenderloin. It's been resting. We've got some great juices left behind. Check this out. Don't lose those. That's pure flavor. Keep your juices. I'm gonna come in here and start slicing some steaks. Some nice thick ones. And it smells incredible. Just a bit of a pink center, tons of juice in there. That's ideal. And as I come down to the end here, I'm gonna make a special cut. I'm gonna take that thick part off the end there. You still get a couple of good steaks right there, and that's your snack. All right, for presentation's sake today, we're gonna come right over the top with our brie cream sauce. I make a little extra sauce just in case. All right, I'm gonna dig into this, guys. And just to show you how tender these are, just a fork is all you need to cut right through that. No steak knife required. Beautiful. Let's get a little taste. Oh man. That rub is amazing. I love the coffee with everything. It's got a touch of sweetness from the sugar in the rub, but man, that creamy garlic brie sauce, unbelievable. It's just savory. That fat covers your mouth. So much flavor with so little effort. I mean, you could cook this any night of the week, but it's decadent enough to save for special occasions. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all of the products featured in today's video. If you enjoyed the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.